This week on IFBB AMA Podcast.
I love Samson. I grew with him. We had a good run, and he's now very much established as Mr. Olympia potential that can bring it maybe this year, yes, even this year. And if you just bring that little extra conditioning, he's going to be trouble for everyone.
On this episode of AMA Podcast with Chris and Milos, we did the Arnold Classic 2024 Ohio recap. Real great breakdown of the classic guys and the bodybuilders. I thought that this was just an outstanding lineup. We definitely gave you a good brief overview of what happened, our viewpoints, and what we think the future holds. So check it out.
So yeah, let's talk about Samson. So yeah, let's put this in consideration. He came to the contest, of course, wanting to win, repeat, from last year's victory, but he has Hadi Choopan to compete against, right?
Right.
So losing to Hadi Choopan, what is the definition of Hadi? Conditioning freak. So conditioning freak throughout his whole career, and he came in the best condition of his life. It was like, really like, oh my God. I promise you, Chris, anything you see on the video and the pictures doesn't show actual conditioning. I'm serious. And you heard this many times before, and sometimes I laugh at the people like still video footage is video footage. Yeah. Okay, so let's focus on. So I think that Samson's backdoor biceps improve dramatically. He was criticized for back and bring back the back, and he is filling up. He was bigger than before, noticeably. Tyler Mannion recognized it. Improvements that Samson is constantly making. Take a look at the side triceps. It's like so much mass, fullness, thickness, everything. So Tyler, said himself, okay, he's improved, he's big, but we don't need him to keep improving in size and thickness. He needs to bring conditioning, and conditioning when you stand next to Hadi Choopan, that's what are you looking?
I'm going back to that comparison shot so we could see this.
Yeah. So, for Samson, I know there is already news is out, so I'm not going to pretend like this didn't happen. We basically, split our ways after 2.5 years. We decide not to continue. He wants to try something different. I support him for that 100%. I do think that he became from average competitor overnight, elite competitor that has a Mr. Olympia written all over him. We still didn't deliver the kind of conditioning that he needed to win this kind of contest, Olympia and AMA Classic, with somebody like Hadi Choopan there.
Right.
So, and he now clearly sees, right, that he heard from judges. As much as we want to count on this hashtag bodybuilding, it's not just a conditioning. When somebody is so conditioned, okay, it makes such a difference. And Hadi came way better than he was at Olympia, to the point that many people are talking about if Hadi was conditioned like this, there's no way he would have lost. So just for Samson again, to conclude. I love Samson. I grew with him. We had a good run, and he's now very much established as Mr. Olympia potential that can bring it maybe this year, yes, even this year. Is he does he going to need more refinement? Tyler Mannion reportedly, when he talked about Samson, he says he has all the tools, and if you just bring that little extra conditioning, he's going to be trouble for everyone. And
I'll just comment too. It's like, for those of people that are kind of not really full versed in the coaching world, it happens all the time. You know, people leave other coaches to try other things, whether
Mm.
something was wrong or not. And the bottom line is like nobody ever comes in 110% every single time. And in my opinion, I do believe that, you know, as much as trying new things is nothing wrong with that, I do believe that staying with the same coach for an extended period of time to find that winning formula, or just understand that sometimes the body just doesn't operate the same way. I mean, Dexter Jackson, we know, is probably the most consistent person with conditioning on stage, but yet he still is not 110% every single time he's on stage, right? Um, and we also know that Flex Lewis has stayed with the same coach for the entire time. There's been a lot of people that stayed with the same coach for years and years and years. And they accepted and understand that, you know, you can't be 110% all the time. It just doesn't work. You don't live in a clinical controlled setting, you know? But I thought you've done very well with them so far. I'm happy that how you're able to do that. There's some coaches I know and you know of, the second they part ways, they're kind of like, fuck that dude. And they don't want to talk to them ever again. Like, I'm glad you're not like that. We all know that.
Hey, I mean, when you love somebody and you have friends for so long and you live and breathe every contest prep. I mean, I was, with him every step of the way. It didn't happen. It's not like, oh my God. It just, it's maybe time for him to try something different. And I just expressed to him, even after the contest, suffer, go that extra mile. This conditioning last year won him the contest, right? Against Nick Walker, who is, also known for conditioning. He was going to be conditioned, and that was enough. Well, this was not enough for this gentleman, Hadi Choopan, that really, who has ever beat Hadi Choopan in the IFBB, and then was that really deserving? I mentioned this several times. Hadi, to me, was always the best conditioned guy on the stage. Every contest he ever entered. So that's clearly, right?
Yeah.
Every contest he ever entered, he's the best conditioned guy on the stage. Even when he was off in 2022 for Hadi Choopan off, and when he won Olympia, which was probably a little bit confusing, right? You come rip, dry, conditioned, and then you don't win. And I said, okay, he was going against a 2 times Olympia champion, Big Ramy. Big Ramy, I need to be bigger. And Honey Rambo decided, okay, they're going to go for a little bit a bigger look. And this first impression, when you see Hadi, like, oh, that's not Hadi that we know. But then Hadi started getting a little tighter. And then you realize, oh, there's a combination of both, and it was perfect. And he won. I think 2023, he could have been tighter, and that cost him. Right, there was a few points. I don't even know. There was a couple of points difference. So there's no way that Hadi would bring anything else on the stage that this dry as a desert. we can't even comprehend this kind of conditioning. The thin skin, zero body fat. I mean, if I would estimate, even though people say that humanly it's impossible to be 2% body fat, I think he is.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, like, I mean, Hadi is what? He's 5'5", 5'7", 5'6".
I have no clue.
Yeah, no clue, right? His true stats. But I mean, his structure, his condition, his size, this was undoubtedly an easy win for him because of what he brought. I mean, the leg mass, his arty shape, like the condition, the rear double bicep. I remember everybody was like, oh, he's really conditioned for Olympia, but he didn't have really good glutes. Well, this time he came in with everything from the rear. Looking at the most muscular, it looks like he's etched out and carved out with an X-Acto blade with a blade. It's just incredible.
You were not there. You were not there. So I'm going to tell you this. He stepped on the stage with a vacuum, and throughout the whole quarter turns, he kept the vacuum, and throughout the whole mandatories, he kept the vacuum. And then he would just push the abs on the ab shot and the most muscular shot, right? And
Yeah,
it was superb control. I mean, it was like, holy shit. I was
I'm
talking
trying to think. Is this where I saw it? I think that when he does his ab and
Yeah,
thigh.
see, pay attention. Okay, this is the only time that he would do that. But then, you're gonna see here. You didn't see the turn.
I want to see how he did the ab and thigh. His stomach, he like, usually when someone does like a vacuum, you can't necessarily see the abs bunch up. But with his ab and thigh, you actually were able to see the abs bunch up, which I thought was like, wow. I haven't really seen that before.
Yeah. So this is way improved. And lat spread is like a airplane, Boeing 747. I mean, it's like, boom. He comes out big time.
Boom.
I still think that he loses this post to Derek, right? Because
well, Derek's burrito bicep is near
but
flawless.
he's closing in. And then all the other poses.
I want to see an ab and thigh.
Look at
Do a
that.
damn ab and thigh. I want to see that. I'm trying to think who had that shot where I saw that from. Oh, here we go.
Bim boom. Yeah.
Yeah, his ab control was just silly. Zero distension.
Zero.
Completely flat stomach.
Yeah.
Like right there. Look, what the hell?
I told Jake how that he was laughing. I say, I bet you that Hadi can keep vacuum for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah. And I love this. I love this. Him just like, taking the time, saying hello to everybody, talking to everybody.
He saw me there. I was right there. And he pointed fingers. I love Hadi, so, we were going, of course, to defeat him, so he understands there's no any animosity or anything. And just like, look, Honey Rainbow is going to have to peak both of them for the show.
I know. That's got to be.
That's another thing. If you ask me, I would love that Honey gets Samson as well.
It's got to be interesting. I just couldn't imagine, being that situation where you're coaching two of the top people and they're both very competitive. I wouldn't want to be. Honey must deal with it really well, but I wouldn't necessarily want that job.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.